Hello everyone, let's continue with our user management program. Let's add a couple of new features. So one feature we'll be adding is on click of this cancel button, we'll close this dialog. Let's do that, close that, cancel. So I'm going to go into add user dialog. On the click of the dialog, we will be doing dialog result equals cancel. So that should help that. Let's try. Okay, let's test it now. So ACDEF and then 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 log in and then click do that, cancel, and then it closes the form. Now next thing we want to do is add a couple of context action. One is to view the details, another one is to delete and edit. Well, let's do that. Close that. What we will be doing is we'll be going into the form 1. Let's go to the designer of the form 1 and then get our toolbox, designer toolbar, and we'll search for context menu strip. So this one, let's drop it over there. Let's drop it here. Okay, so we're dropping there, and then we will call it context menu strip 1. Yeah, let's leave it like that, and then we'll have one option called view, and then after that we will add a let's add a separate, and then another menu item is edit, add a separator again, and then this is going to be delete. Okay, these are all the items we're interested in. Let's click onto this, and then on the items, click on that, and delete. On the delete tool strip menu item, we want the color to be red. So let's go with here on the 4 color. Let's change to red. Okay. Now, next thing we want to do is on the right click of any of these cell, we want to populate that context menu strip. So let's do that. On this action, cell right click. Let's listen to that event. What we want to do is LB main dot context menu strip is going to be context menu strip 1. Okay, let's try to run it. Okay, let's see what a context menu looks like. On right click, okay, so we have our context menu, and then next what we want to do is we want to handle each of the actions. So let's handle the delete action. Let's close that and then hide that. Let's go back to the designer and then go to the context menu. On that delete, what we want to do is add an action, click action. Okay, let's stop that, and on click of this delete tool strip item, we want to delete our user. Let's do that. Let's ask a question first. Equals message box that so are you sure you want to delete this user? And then let's give it a title of delete user with your capital, and then yes no question, and then it's going to be a question, and by default it's going to be a no button 2. Somehow it doesn't like it. Okay, our default is going to be button 2, and if response equals no, then we want to return back. Otherwise we want to delete our user. Now let's find out what model that user clicked in. If LB main that selected object is not user, then we want to return back. Okay, it does not like it because this is a new C# feature. So let's change that C# version to the latest one. All it's going to do is in the CS project, it's going to add this one. language version to be the latest one. So let's continue. Now what we want to do is main dot items dot remove, and then we could just do remove our user, maybe not. Objects dot remove, main dot remove object, and then it's going to be user. Okay, so let's try it now. Okay, now let's add a user. Test at test.com. So not that. Let's cut that out. Paste it over there. Test1. Let's save this user. Yes. And then we want to delete this. So right click, delete, and we get this prompt. Yes. And we deleted our user. Let's do the same thing. Delete the user. Yes. Now we have a problem where our record count is not updating. So let's fix that now. I'm going to close it. Stop the project, and then after removing, we want to do the update record count, and then similarly when you do this one, you want to do the same thing. So this will update the record count. Now next thing we want to do is view the user. So let's add that action on the view. Let's click on that. On the click of this action, we want to fire up this event. So let's do that. Now what we want to do is if the user has selected a user, then we want them to view the user details, otherwise we will not prompt anything. So let's do something like this. List view main, the current list view that selected object is user. Let's do is not user. If it's not a user, then we want to return back, otherwise we want to create a new instance of add user dialog, and then we'll display the user there. So add user dialog equals new user dialog, add user dialog, and then what we will do is we will pass the user itself, and then user dialog dot show dialog. At the moment it's upset, but we will fix it. So let's go to the user dialog itself. Let's change the constructor. So it will take a user, and what we want to do is if user is not null, then we want to display the details of the user. So txt name.text equals user.firstname. Let me duplicate that a couple of times. So this is going to be last name with L capital. Text txt last name. This is going to be txt email. So if you are passing a user, then it's in a view mode or something. So let's add a boolean is view read only mode. We'll take that as well, and then what we can do is let's copy all of those. And then what we will do is enabled if it's not is read only mode. Okay, so what we're trying to do is if it's view only mode, then we do not want user to edit. So what we're doing is enable the text boxes. But if it's just a normal adding or editing, then we want it to be enabled. So let's change a couple of our errors. Now this wants add user dialog, it wants a user. We will pass a user to be null and then false. And then same thing here, it's set true. It has to be, if you are just viewing the user, it has to be in the read-only mode. So let's test it. Okay, now let's test this one record count update. I'm going to delete this one, and then there you go, record count is updating. Now let's see what our view looks like. Right click view, and there you go, our details are there, but we still have a couple of problems like save users and cancel, but cancel buttons would be visible but not the save user. So if you do this, it will just add the same user, which is not what we want. So let's fix that. Let's go here and ptn save dot enable is going to be not read only mode. Okay, let's try again. Okay, let's do right click view, and there you go. You are just viewing this record, but you cannot edit it. Let's cancel that. Now next thing we need to implement is on the editing of the user. We'll be using the same form to edit the user, but with different properties. Let's work into that. I'm going to cancel that, stop that for a moment, go to the designer itself, and then let's find our, okay, this one is unhappy at the moment. So this will be something called view. Okay, let's go back to the designer, reload the designer. This rider is never good for the designer, but yeah, this is what it is. Now, where's how? Looks like we lost our tool strip at the moment. Okay, let's go back to the code. Wrong place. Form one, there, the tool strip is there, and on the edit of this, on the click of this button, we want to edit the user details. Edit. So what we will be doing here is just copy, let's duplicate the whole thing, and then if you wanted to edit a user, you need to have select a valid user. So this will be handled by here, and then there, and then we want to do a false. Okay, so what we want to do is, let's go here and we'll create a public method called bool is in edit mode, and then we will only be in edit mode if is in edit mode equals not is read only mode. Okay, so what we're basically saying is if you are passing a user and then you are not viewing it, then we are in edit mode and then we want to do a different thing. So that will be that. Next, go back here, and then these are our users. Okay, so on the save of this user, where is our save button? Okay, we want to do something here. Instead of saying you want to add this user, now depending upon our variable, we want to do something else. If is in edit mode, then that message is going to be a little bit different. String message is going to be blank by default, and the message equals are you sure you want to add to save this or update this user detail. So just a generic message. Else message is going to be the same thing. Move it over there and give it a semicolon. This is our message. Now next thing what we want to do is, let's expand that for a moment. Okay, let's expose that user outside. We can do that using private read only user. It's going to be edit user, and edit user is going to be our user itself. So we're basically storing this user to this. Then let's go back to our save method. If is in edit mode, then we want to do something, otherwise we want to continue doing the new user mode. So do that, and in the edit user dot, let's copy everything. Last name and email are going to be that field that user has changed. Okay, that's all. Let's test it. Okay, right click, edit, and these are our details. Now just change that mark to be John, and then see if it updates on the background or not. Save the user. Are you sure you want to update this user detail? Yes. And then there you go. Our mark has become John. So it's quite easy using the WinForms. Now next thing we want to do is add a source button on the top. So let's do that. Okay, next we're going to add our search bar. Let's go to the designer of not of that, but of form one. Designer, reload the designer, why not? Get the toolbar, and then we'll be searching for text box. Then expand that, and where is our text box? It's there. We're going to put it over there. Let's grab a label as well. Let's grab that over here, and then we're going to do auto size of true for this, and change the text of this going to be search. Yep, move it over to the here, and then a little bit to the top. Okay, and rename that is to be text search. Let's make it a little bit bigger, and then let's look into the event called text change event. Double click on that, save that, hide the toolbox, and let's rename it to be capital character. And basically what we want to do is string.isNull or what's spread text search.text. Basically if user has typed something, what we want to do is text match filter equals text match filter dot contains on our list view remain, and then what are the text you have entered text. So that's all you want to do, and then list view main dot additional filter is going to be filter itself, and then we want to main dot refresh. Okay, otherwise if you have not typed anything or your search bar is clear, then you want to clear out all the filter dot additional filter is going to be null, and then that's all. That should do our job. Let's try running it again. Before we do anything, we forgot a couple of things, so let's go to the designer and then find our list main view, or you could use the designer on here or go to format.designer.cs. Both are same. What we want to do is this dot lb main dot use filtering to be true, and then this dot lb main dot use filter indicator to be true. Now let's run it again. Okay, our program is running. Now let's search for something. So heads in, there you go. The records are updating, so it's refreshing as you type. Now a couple of things. Your record count is not updating, but we can fix it later on. And this search is going to search for every column and every row. So if you just do the HN2, and there you go, it will present that. So next thing, let's fix our record count. I'm going to stop the project, go back to form 1, and then we'll call update record count. So this should fix our issue. Okay, let's run the project now. Now if we search for any user HN, then our record count updates. Now the one thing I found is if you right click here, then context menu appears. But if you click on view, it's not going to do anything or edit, nothing, or delete. It's going to ask you for delete, but that's not correct because you do not have a user selected to delete. So what we want to do is we do not want to display a context menu if we have not selected a right user. So let's do that. To do that, you want to go to the cell, right click here, and instead of blindly assigning the context menu, we want to check if the selected user is there or not. So if lb main dot selected object is not user, then we want to return back. So that should fix our issue. Will anyone need a user variable? Just user would do. Let's run it. Okay, our program is running. Now if you right click outside, it's not going to display the context menu because our user is not valid. But if you have to do here, then your context menu is going to appear. So this is all. Now we have created a user. We can add a user. Let's test ABC DEF and then give it a test.com. So our form is going to do the validation of the email, and then first name, so a couple of validations are there. Let's save the user. Yes, it's going to add it here. So, and then you can right click, view the details of the user, or you can edit the details of the user. That's done. You can filter the user. You can see how many records are there. All of those are there. Now next thing we're going to do is add a new context action to send an email. So keep watching.